So I'm trying to figure out how to share my live off my phone, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's great. If you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Oh, okay. Found it. Share. Copy link. Hi, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Hi, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Anyways, so I'm just prepping to make a bunch of bracelets. But before I start crafting the bracelets, I have a few steps I need to do in order to then put it together. And I thought, why not do it on live? Since I'd rather go live than create videos because I hate editing. But with a live, I don't have to edit, so it works out perfectly. And everyone can see how I do what I do. Today I thought that the number one topic that kind of has been coming up a lot lately, I've seen, is self-sabotage. I feel like the light kind of sucks. Oh yeah, I think that's better. I've seen a lot of my friends on Facebook just like talk about self-sabotage and how, you know, it's low-key ruining their life. And that's so relatable because same, I used to be like really, really bad at it too. I used to self sabotage a lot. And it, stems from trauma. And when you're kind of in it, you can't really, like, you don't know how to help yourself. And you may even start noticing like patterns and start noticing how like it's affecting your life, but that doesn't mean you can fix it or know how to fix it or that you can fix it, right? Because it's like it's so unpredictable and so like I don't know, like if it was easy to fix it, people would just fix it, right? So then I read a book and I wanted to share with my friends because I feel like this is information that could help somebody. And especially if you don't like reading or if you'd rather not read an entire book on that topic. I'll just tell you about it and I'll tell you my experience. I don't have any kind of a medical or a degree in psychology or anything, but I just am mainly going to talk about like personal experience and hopefully that helps somebody. So that's basically the goal here. And I just want to say that like obviously I can't fix everyone's life and not here for that. And I'm not responsible if you try this and it's really hard and you can't do it, or if what the book says doesn't work for you. It worked for me, but doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for everyone, I guess. But I could just tell you about my personal experience, and again, hopefully that just helps somebody. So sorry. First and foremost, so the book is called Taming Your Outer Child, and I don't remember by who, but it's a really, really great book, and I do recommend it because it did change my life. Like high key, I used to do a lot of stuff that well, I feel like was not helping me kind of succeed in life, wasn't helping me do good. It was mainly like holding me back. And sorry, oh my gosh, I'm like getting allergies or something. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, sorry if I sound terrible. I apologize. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So I low-key, like I used to really like do a lot of self-sabotage and I didn't know why, but obviously it still stems like from trauma and stuff. And the hardest part about it is like all the guilt and shame that you feel, like, because you know that you can do better, you should be doing better, but you're not doing better because you're self-sabotaging. So you could be doing better in the moment, and then next thing you know, you're back to whatever action you took, like that causes like another I don't know, another hoop to like jump through to get to your goal, or like whatever it is that you're doing. Like maybe it's something small, or maybe it's something big that actually like affects your whole life. So it could be stuff like that's like kind of trivial, like I don't know, like shopping too much, I guess, and wasting your money on things. Or it could be stuff like that's a little bit more serious, like I don't know, like substance abuse, or like gambling addictions, like all kinds of like stuff like that, right? Also like I don't know. I can't think of it right now because it's been like so long since I read this book and I did the work, and I have genuinely, like, honestly have not self-sabotaged since, but I used to like I used to self-sabotage a lot. So anyway, you get the point. Moving on. The book talks about how you have your inner child, and everybody talks about this. Everybody knows like the concept of an inner child, but it goes in depth about what your like who your inner child is, and the wants and needs of everyone's inner child. And it talks about the fact that your inner child is a part of you that is very simple. um it's a part of you that has like pretty basic needs. For example, like safety and just being protected, loved, and just feeling safe. And that is pretty much it. Then it talks about you as an adult, or if you're not an adult, you know, you as your conscious self right now. You are older than your inner child, obviously. So just talks about you at a conscious age. Where you might be reading this book to see how you can help yourself self-sabotaging. And so that would be a part of you that we'll call I don't remember what the book calls it, but we'll call like the big you. I think that's probably what they call it in the book as well. Sorry. Anyway, this is the part of you who is like striving to do your best. This is the part of you who's there to take care of you, take care of your inner child and take care of your physical, mental well-being, emotional well-being, etc. But, and this is the part of you, I should mention that wants what's best for you. This is not the part that does the self-sabotage. The part of you that does self-sabotaging behavior, that is a scared part of you that has a different name. And that part of you is called your outer child. And so the book goes into depth, describing the inner child, the outer child, the adult you, or grown you, like big you, to kind of really differentiate each part and help you understand best what each part of you actually does, how that part thinks, how that part functions, etc. And that's where the benefit of actually reading the book comes in, because I can briefly explain how I interpreted it. I can explain my personal experience doing the work. But the book really, really goes into, more depth. And I think that matters. So if you absolutely hate reading and it's not something that you can get through, or maybe you tried reading the book, or you try reading the book in the future and you just absolutely can't do it, fine. Hopefully me talking about it helps. But if you're someone who can read, enjoys it, and you think you can possibly benefit from it, I would just recommend to read it. So anyway, the book then talks about the outer child, and so I'll explain that a bit. The outer child is the part of you who is very caring and very loving and wants what is best for the inner child. And so much so that the outer child would literally just do anything to help the inner child not be in pain when something painful comes up. The thing about the outer child, though, is that it is the part of you that is highly misguided in that the outer child does not know how to help, and the outer child doesn't know how to help long term. So it's more of a teenager who's super worried about your inner child's well-being. And the moment the inner child starts hurting, this very overprotective teenager steps in and starts just doing whatever it takes in the moment to stop the pain. Do you see where this is going? That's where those behaviors come in. the self-sabotaging behaviors. They're all basically, very, very basically, like just attempts at stopping whatever pain that you're feeling in that moment. And that's what the outer child does, is damn the consequences and anything that happens in the future. That is not the priority here. The priority is just stopping whatever the pain is, is happening with the inner child. So even though that part of you is very loving and it very lovingly creates like these situations for you where it helps the inner child stop hurting in the moment, it does do more damage than good, because usually those behaviors are very very misguided, and they do not think of consequences or long-term outcomes. So, how do we stop and tame, the title of the book, the outer child, from continuing to, trying to protect us, trying to protect the inner child that's in pain? Well, and this is where it gets really interesting. And I personally found it very, very difficult to like even do this exercise because, I mean, honestly, just like it felt insane. It took me a lot of different times sitting down and like actually doing this work, because it's hard. It caused me like a lot of anxiety too. You know how like if you open up like past wounds or whatever, like you get anxiety, and it's like literally you're healing from trauma, and healing from trauma is not pretty or nice or simple. It hurts and it sucks, etc. Right? So doing these exercises, it is not easy. It's like really flippin' difficult, right? So whenever I would do these exercises, I would actually get in my bathtub because I don't know, anytime I'm in pain or anytime I'm feeling sick, like physically just ill, I just spend hours in my bathtub. Like I'll have the shower running, and I'll just sit there just because it feels good. Like that's my safe space, I guess. I don't know. But obviously, like I can't have writing utensils and a notebook in my shower. So instead of a shower, I would just get in my bathtub and like take baths and put like cute little bath bombs and whatever like smelled good, made me feel good and cozy. And I would be in the water, but like my hands would be outside of the water, obviously writing in my notebook. And also, you don't have to do it via like writing in your notebook. There's different ways of doing this. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this exercise in psychology is called, oh my gosh, what is it called? Family something or other. Let me look it up actually, because I don't want to. Mm-mm. Oh my gosh. Okay. Uh it's like family something or other. It's not EMDR. So EMDR is eye movement. What? EMDR. Eye movement. Decent. Okay, I'm lost on the names, but it's like another way to name it is like reparenting yourself. I know like the word family is in it because when I first heard of it, I always like thought that what it actually meant is like you go to therapy with your family. And it's kind of like deceiving the way that it's worded because that's not it at all. Um okay, it's gonna bug me if I don't know the name. Hold on. Oh, okay, here we go. Internal family systems. Thank goodness. Internal family systems. Yeah, okay. So in internal family systems therapy, you have like your core self and then you have like parts of yourself. And so internal family systems therapy, like I believe what it does is has you like kind of like separate parts of yourself to basically have the right part that you need at the right moment, like help you with whatever you're facing. So this is literally like exactly that. And it just the book just explains how to do it. So I believe this is what internal family systems is. Um and if I'm wrong, like correct me because again, not a therapist, just talking about my personal experience with this book. So anyway, it has you kind of like almost split yourself into different personalities, which I found this part especially hard. Um, it was just like a total mind fuck, honestly. Like it was so hard to do this to the point where like first of all, I had to do it several times. It's not like you just like sit down for a sesh and it's like all beautiful roses and like super easy and happy times. Like no, like you do it and then you start crying randomly. Like it's really hard. So I had to like stop, take breaks and um do it over several different sessions until I felt like it helped me and I didn't need it anymore. And actually, I feel like I could probably do it more, but I haven't. But if I do, I'll let you guys know how it goes. But all this to say that it's not just like a one-time thing. It is very, very hard to do, but eventually it really does really help, like in a weird way. It helped me at least. So Um, anyway, this is gonna be like one bracelet or maybe two because I don't know if I put too much stuff here. I just know it's going to be so pretty. Gorgina. Okay, I'm going to work on the next bracelet now. So you split yourself, or okay, and also just to say that like this is this is not to say that this is like, because there's a term called splitting in psychology that I believe has to do with like different disorders where like you have this, you do the splitting. Like this is completely different, right? um this is like usually people do splitting and it's unhealthy and it's like unwanted, right? You're not in control of it. It's like your mental health unhealthy, I guess. Right? But this is like different. I'm not using the word splitting in that context. I'm using it like in just like separating your, this is why it's so hard. It's even hard to explain. So I'm just talking about how like I personally like am able to explain it the best way that I can. Keep in mind I'm also like not English first language. So if I explain something wrong, just correct me. I'm not going to be offended if you just kindly correct me. So anyway, having said all that, moving on. It tells you to kind of split yourself into 3 different parts of yourself, not your like personality, maybe your personality, but I think it's just 3 parts of yourself, right? And it talks about kind of like talking to yourself where the part of you that's the grown adult part, it will talk to your inner child first. And so you're supposed to either imagine yourself as a little kid, or you can also just like grab a notebook and start writing this stuff. There's like 2 different ways, or maybe there's even more different ways to do it. I don't know, but I know of 2 different ways. The first way is when you like imagine yourself as a little kid and you go back to a situation maybe that you experienced when you were a kid that you feel like you scraped your knee, or you had some type of like unpleasant moment but you didn't receive. Hi, yes, informed. Hi, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many hearts. Okay. Well, I love you too. Thank you. Um so it tells you like for your first exercise, it tells you to kind of separate yourself into the inner child and the adult part, like the big you, and have like either a conversation or imagine yourself as a kid when you were little and something bad happened and you did not receive the like the care or love or the hug that you needed or the kind words that you needed in that moment. And so you as the adult, you now, you have that capability to then offer yourself the care, that love, and the support that you did not receive. And I guess it's supposed to help heal like these situations that might still be bothering you as an adult. And it's like, it sounds super trivial because like, oh, you scraped your knee, nobody helped you. Like, I mean, it's like sad, but also it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it could be a big deal because it could like have taught you that because nobody cared for you in that moment when you were a kid, nobody cares about you now. And then that causes like a ton of, I don't know, relationship issues, right? So, in order to, like, it sounds dramatic, but it's like for real, this actually happens. Um, so it talks about how if you offer yourself like that, I don't know, imaginary hug, and you can even like physically hug yourself while you're doing this, I guess, which also helps, I guess. Um, it will kind of like almost rewire your brain to where you feel like you are now receiving that support that you always needed. Okay. So, and again, it sounds weird, but like therapists tell you to do this stuff. And the second way to do the exact same thing I just described, but like different, is instead of imagining yourself as a kid, because not everybody can visualize like too good. Sometimes people can't visualize. The other thing that you can do is grab a notebook and start writing out an entire conversation between the big you and your inner child. And again, it sounds hella weird, but it works. And what you're supposed to do is not really think about what you're going to write and not even have a narrative. Like you're not really there to write a book. You're not really there to like uh gosh, how do I explain it? Like you're not supposed to have a preconceived idea of what you're going to write even. You sit down and you think about the little you and then the adult you. And the conversation will usually start like this. You as an adult, you could put like on the paper B for big and L for little, or whatever like other names you want to give your two parts. And you could just be like, "Hi little, this is your big person." And then you just write down what you would say as the little person, the inner you, right? The inner child. And you would say hi, or you could be like, if you're happy in the moment, which obviously like if you're doing exercises like this you probably aren't, which is why you're doing the exercises, right? um but you could just like say something like um hi, and you can even put like a sad face. Like you could put a sad face indicating that the inner child part of you is sad. And again, going back to the beginning of the live, I explained like the book tells you that the inner child part of you doesn't have like very complex emotions. The inner child part of you has like very, very basic needs. And the emotions are like happy or sad, maybe disappointed, maybe devastated, but like it's not like very deep, right? Just sadness, general sadness, for example. So, as the big you, someone who is reparenting yourself, you then could write something like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Right? Maybe your parents never asked you, "Hey, what's wrong?" Maybe you were sad when you were little and your parents came up to you, hit you upside the head, and were like, "Fuck's wrong with you?" Like, Right? Like, as a kid, that would be very, very traumatizing. That would probably be traumatizing as an adult too, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're now reparenting yourself. So you're going to do the soft thing. You're going to come up with nice something to say to the inner child that isn't abusive. So it's going to be, hey, what is wrong? And then what you're supposed to do, again, you're not supposed to have like this whole thing figured out, but as the little, you could just let whatever comes out come out. You could be needing a little more reassurance that the big you is actually going to help. And, you know, as the little you could be like, nothing. Oh shit, it broke. You could just be like, nothing, and then put another frowny face. Because it is possible that maybe when you were little and you really, really needed attention and you were like, nothing's wrong. Maybe at that time, the person who you really, really, really wanted attention from was like, okay, cool, bye. And didn't actually validate. They like, obviously you look upset. Obviously you're not good, right? So your inner child part of you might not even be able to like verbalize feelings at first, might not even want to talk to the big adult you. So that's where it's just whatever comes out comes out. And like the more you do this, the more kind of like trust you build in yourself almost. Like I swear it's really weird, like I said, but it definitely helped me a lot. And so um as you could be like nothing's wrong and then put like another frowny face. And then so as the adult you, what you would do that would be not abusive and kind and soft and nice, you would then press the inner you to tell you what's going on. Well, I can tell something is wrong. And you can literally like I said, you can write this down like a whole conversation. Um and make it flow, make it end at any point in time, but usually it'll go like what I'm describing kind of. So as the adult you'd be like, well, I can tell something's wrong and I'm here to help. And then as the inner you would then respond in a way that could be very surprising. Like, I mean, the things that come out during this exercise is kind of like you telling yourself a secret that you have been holding on, but you haven't been able to verbalize in a long time. But now that you're verbalizing it it sounds like almost even more sad than what you've been keeping like inside the entire time. So it could come out like, I'm devastated. And it just like when you write that down and you're looking at what you just wrote down, it feels like maybe you weren't the one who wrote it even, but it feels real at the same time. And it could really just like, I mean, the flow of emotions that comes out during this exercise, it's so real. So that's where it gets really hard because you might start crying and you haven't cried in like months because you haven't allowed yourself to like even feel anything. So when the adult you asks the little you, like, what's going on, what's wrong? And then the little you says, I'm devastated. Then you kind of like, you can really like feel it inside, the devastation, but you kind of have to keep going because you already started the conversation. So you have to finish it, right? So it would be something along the lines of like the big you would then step in and be like, what's wrong? Like, I am here to help. And it might not even get to this point, like when you're doing the first few times, doing like the conversations between the big you and the little you. So the little you might not even say any of this. The little you might just be like, I'm just sad, but I don't want to talk about it. And then the big you would be like, okay, well, I'm here if you do. And end it there. Whatever you have, like the emotional spoons for in the moment, that's, don't do more than that, because like I said, this exercise is very like hard. Like I found it extremely hard. So now the point of taming your outer child, the part of you that just cannot wait to protect the inner child and just wants to, and the pain and the hurt that you're feeling like immediately. Okay? Once you're used to having these type of conversations, the big you and the inner you, then you can have this very important conversation with the outer child. And this conversation is much more structured. And this conversation has to happen a very specific way. And here is kind of how it's supposed to go. The big you will sort of do its thing and ask the little you, hey, how are you feeling? And then if the little you is upset and not doing well, the little you will say that or write it down, or you can imagine it, whatever. Then you, at this point, you can bring up the outer child portion of you and ask, hey, outer child, like, how do you feel about this? Like, what do you want to do to help? And the outer child at that point typically will want to go smoke a blunt, go gamble, go, I don't know, hit up a booty call, like just do like those self-sabotaging behaviors that you know are self-sabotage. I am missing a piece and like it flew somewhere, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. You know, so as the outer child, you could be like, well, I want to help stop the pain immediately. I want to, and then you list whatever it is that you typically go and do that you know is a self-sabotaging behavior. So you list whatever in that moment that you want to do that you know is not good for you, but you want to do it so that your inner child stops hurting. And you just write that down or you imagine it, like I said. And before you decide you want to go actually do that thing, have this conversation as the little you, the big you, and the outer child about how to not go there anymore. And what you do is, because of all of the conversations that you have already had the chance to be a part of between the inner child and the adult self, the big you kind of at this point have built up a little bit of like like trust. Like the little you will trust to trust that like the big you is wanting what is best for the both of you, right? So at this point, you can safely tell the outer child specifically this. Thank you so much for how much you care. Thank you for all the ways that you have tried very lovingly to help protect the inner child and help the inner child feel better. Thank you. I know you did not do things to be malicious. I know that you were only trying to help. But at this time, your help is no longer necessary because I got it. From this point forward, please do not try to help anymore. I am here to help the inner child feel better. And now it's my turn to help protect the inner child. And so you kind of have this like conversation, and the way that I did it was on paper. Just cuz that was easiest for me, but I know like sometimes you can just imagine all of this stuff and it helps in therapy, but I didn't do this in therapy. I just did it myself because I read that book, and it helped me so much. So I wrote it in 3 different parts, and I kind of like wrote, what I just said, like thank you. I know you were lovingly just trying to help, but your help is no longer needed. I am here to help protect the inner child and help the inner child not hurt and not be in pain. And then you can answer like as the outer child, and you can write down like, okay, well, I was only trying to help. And you can reiterate as the big you, I know you're only trying to help. I know this was not malicious. Like all of your past behaviors were not malicious. They were not like meaning to be hurtful or to make anyone's life harder. But they are simply no longer necessary. Thank you so much for everything you've done. But at this point, you have to let go. And I'm going to take over. And something happens in that moment, and I don't know why it works, but it definitely does. Because it just releases that part of you that does the self-sabotage. And it kind of like helps that part of you not feel bad about what it's done in the past. Like you don't have to feel guilty about all the things that you have done in the past that were self-sabotaging. But at the same time, you can release that part of you from ever doing those things again. Thank that part of you because it did what it did lovingly with what, like, it was well-intentioned, even if long-term it wasn't the best for you. And then that releases kind of like that urge of having to go and do those self-sabotaging behaviors whenever you feel bad. It helps you kind of take a step back and think about situations as the adult you, the big you, that are making you feel bad as the little you, instead of that outer child having to immediately feel like you have to immediately fix whatever is going on inside that's wrong in the moment when you're not feeling well. when something is wrong, when something emotionally isn't right. It's hard to describe like why this works or how it works or just like the inner stuff that happens once you do this exercise. But it is literally like, it is life changing. It is absolutely life changing. And like, so the way that I'm describing it, again, I know it sounds super crazy, and it is just, it's just like kind of like when you're doing it, it feels like you're low key like going insane a little bit. Cause like, yeah, when I had to do it and I had to, like, I literally felt like I was splitting myself into 3 different people. It felt weird. It felt very weird to do this exercise, but it worked. I don't know. It's like, and also, by the way, because like when you are like I said, like when you're having these initial conversations, like the big you and the little you, and you're earning that trust of the little you, that the big you is there to help, etc. And you probably should also be having like more of these conversations once you dismiss the outer child. Like you dismiss the outer child, you thank them, and then you can have more of these like one-on-one conversations with the inner you and the outer you, or my bad, big you. um so it can get like deeper, and sometimes like you start like hearing, or not hearing yourself, but like you will write stuff down you never expected to write down, right? So like things come out on paper that you did not know you were feeling, and then suddenly you start crying because like you just feel bad for yourself, right? You've been like holding on to this shit for how long? So going through all of that, it releases a lot of repressed stuff a lot of the time, because instead of just holding on to it, you're actually finally like crying about it. So like I said, by the end of all of these exercises and going through all of this, like you have worked on a lot. Like you have worked on a lot of just like very basic needs, and reparenting yourself and like showing yourself that love and that care that you didn't receive earlier in childhood when you really needed it. And now like you're showing it to yourself, you're giving that to yourself without kind of waiting for somebody else to give it to you. Um, First of all, it teaches like your inner child, your little self, your like brain or whatever, that somebody is there for you. And I know it sounds like kind of insane because that somebody is yourself, but like, let's be so for real. People who are confident and people who like don't have these kind of issues where like they had good parents that cared about them and showed them the proper kind of love and like were there for them in tough situations. They grew up like having just very, very like stable relationships with their parents. Like they know who they are, and they are that person for themselves by default because that's how they grew up. Their parents showed them who they are as a person. Like they let them be themselves, they supported them, etc. So essentially, like you're training your mind and reparenting yourself to kind of get to that point like where an average normal person would be, who has had that kind of like good parental relationship in their childhood, but you're just being that parent for yourself, or that big self for your little inner child. And it's a mind fuck, and it's fucking weird, and it's really painful sometimes, and it just feels really, really weird when you're doing it, but it just works. And it works so well. So, um, it helps release all of those feelings via all the crying you're going to be doing. It helps you feel more secure in yourself. It helps you feel like, that outer child that's causing all the issues and very lovingly causes you to self-sabotage is no longer needed. We don't need to self-sabotage anymore. We're going to do better now, right? We got our big selves to take care of us after this, all the exercises you're going to do. And it releases so much inner stuff that's been built up that I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but it just like it does just work. It's pretty cool. So, I like I said, I really, really, really recommend reading the book itself. It explains these things like the author is, an actual therapist. The author knows what she's talking about. Um, I think it's a girl. I think it's a girl author. Like I'm almost completely like positive, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize. Um, but like obviously by reading the book, you're gonna get that all the parts that I'm forgetting, because it's actually been a while since I read that book. But when I read it, and I did like everything that I said in this video, oh my gosh, I was like, this is like a life-changing book. That book can help so many people. If you the only thing that I feel like, um not that I would change anything about the book itself, but I feel like it's possible that somebody reads it and they might even like try it, but then that either they're not ready for like that much stuff to come out, right? Or they just don't do it the right way. Not that I can distinguish between the right and the wrong way to do this exercise, but like I could see where like somebody could like try to do it and um not be able to get through it, and then just be like, well, this is bullshit. It didn't help me. It didn't fucking change anything. My life still sucks. I'm still like gambling away every paycheck at the casino, or I don't know, getting like one night stands instead of like I don't know, meaningful relationships. Whatever, like whatever is ruining your life currently, like maybe you haven't fixed it and you feel like you're still doing self-sabotage. Anyway, that's like the only thing is I feel like the book is not like foolproof. You have to really like commit to it and stuff, and like really do the exercises and everything. And um it could just be very challenging to do it. So I would just say like if you're trying it and it's not working, maybe you're just like not delusional enough, because low key, like in order to get this successfully done, I kind of feel like you do have to have like a little bit of delusion in you, at least a little bit of like like imagination, right? Because you have to kind of imagine all of these parts of you being like separate and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, like it could be very hard for like everyone to kind of succeed at it. But I also feel like if you give it your absolute best, if you like really just let yourself like dive into it and let it flow through you, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying, but like if you give it your all, I feel like it definitely will help you. Like anyone who does self-sabotage, like this is just such a powerful way to stop it, because like breaking it down to like absolute complete like basics, self-sabotage is literally just exactly that. Like it's just your one part of yourself that desperately wants you to feel better, just doing whatever the fuck it takes in the moment right now to stop the pain. And so when you lovingly correct that and let that part of you go and earn your inner child's trust as the grown you, that you got it. You are now here to take over, to not self sabotage. You're here to take over and give yourself that big hug whenever you need it. It just, I don't know, something happens in the brain and it just works and it just helps. And the author is a freaking genius. So, yeah, reparent yourself and help yourself feel more loved, more secure in who you are, more supported by your own self. And then you can kind of overcome, all the self sabotaging behaviors that have kept you from, I don't know, reaching your next goal, being successful, doing whatever you really have been wanting to do but haven't been able to because self sabotage kept you from reaching what it is you're really wanting in life. So yeah, that's I'm gonna end it here, I think. Hopefully like I was able to explain it very well. This is my first live. I hate the sound of my own voice. I didn't know what else to yap about to you guys while I while I was doing my little crafts and stuff. And this was just like the topic that has been on my mind lately a lot. Like I have seen people on my Facebook just like talking about like I am doing self-sabotage. I don't know how to stop it. Like I don't know how to help myself. Like this and that. And so I thought like, oh my gosh, like same bestie. I used to do that too. And this is kind of like a huge problem. Like it sucks when you know that you deserve better, you know that you could do better, but you just don't, right? Um and so yeah, I thought that this would be like a really really good topic to talk about cuz oh fuck, look, I missed a leaf. God damn it. That was supposed to be here probably. Motherfucker. Okay, I'm going to redo this one. And yeah, so there are a lot of topics like I can't recommend like honestly you like if you have like really deep like emotional issues, mental health issues, stuff like that, and you should be in therapy, like you should be in therapy. But if you can't afford therapy, because let's be for real, like not everybody can afford therapy, but people can afford books. So reading this book and doing this on your own at home, um, like maybe that helps you achieve what you have not been able to achieve before. So I do recommend reading the book and doing what it says in the book, getting through it, and um, and if you have already done it and you know exactly what I'm talking about, or if like you haven't read the book but you've been to therapy and your therapist told you to do like the whole family system stuff and like taught you how to do it, like let me know in the comments what they said to do and if you did it and how you felt, etc. Just like if you feel comfy enough sharing your personal experience, like let me know, because this was just my personal experience, which I mean, I don't know. I find that book completely like absolutely invaluable. Like it just changed my life so significantly for the best. And that was like my whole point in sharing all of this information, because like I'm not here to be anyone's therapist or pretend like um I have those kind of degrees or anything, but it's in the book that you can go get by yourself and do by yourself and help yourself. So I just wanted to share my personal experience, hopefully in the hopes that like maybe you can try it and do it and it helps you as well. But if you've already done something like this, whether it be like the book or if it's like I said, like your therapist taught you how to do it, just let me know, because I would love to hear other people's experiences with this. And if you found it like to be like super difficult to do, because I found it just excruciatingly like painful and difficult, but I'm also glad that I got through it. It's kind of like healing um on steroids almost. Like it really 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 accelerates like the healing process for a lot of like trauma related to like just like not getting the love that you needed in childhood, or maybe even like abandonment issues, because by being that big self for yourself, you got you, you're not abandoning you, and that little inner child can finally feel loved and protected, and like they do have someone there for them who cares. So it's like it's huge. It's like it does rewire your brain and it helps so much, and it's like a beautiful thing. So yeah, I would love to hear other people's experiences. It's just a very uncomfortable topic, and it is just a very like it's just such a difficult therapy thing to do, like the whole internal family systems thing where you like separate yourself into parts. But like I would like to talk about it, and I would like to hear opinions and um other people's experiences, because I don't know how to even like, let's say I'm like with friends somewhere and let's say we're even discussing mental health. How do you even bring up this whole thing without like explaining the entirety of the book and everything I just said? And look, it's been like an hour and 15 minutes and I've been yapping. And like granted, I could have been yapping like a lot faster. Forgive me, this is like my first live. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? So, once I do more lives, like I will get into swing of things, but just overall I could have yapped like a lot less, or like um I could have said all of this maybe a little faster or whatever, but like point being, it's like it's been like over an hour And unless I explain this entire fucking thing, how do I open that conversation to then be like, so yeah, have you had this experience? And like 99% of the time, they'll be like, no, you're fucking weird. No, I have not had that experience. Like, so hopefully YouTube is like the place where I might find a soul or two who has gone through it and can share with me their experience. And if they found it very difficult to do. So yeah, anyway, thank you. If you got this far and my voice didn't like completely annoy you, holy shit, thank you. Next time I go live, I'm going to be probably putting one of these together. So yeah, let me know in the comments which bracelet you would want me to do first. This is, and I think I might have like included way too much stuff here. So like this purple one, it's a little long. I might have to like break it up into 2 halves. Just do like a little half and like half, because I don't know anyone's wrist that is this big. So I might do 2 of these because they're like just gorgeous, so pretty. Anyway, so yeah, the purple, this like pink and dark green one, or this really, really fun, colorful bracelet. Let me know what you would like me to do on my next live. And thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.